She's a lawyer, viewers, so not given to talking rubbish. She will be absolutely on the gun this evening. She will quote exactly what the lawyers have been quoting in the Supreme Court, and she's within her right to do so, and I encourage that kind of debate. But let's do it factually without calling into question anyone personally. So I want to ask you, ma'am, Neelofar ji, why is the Congress, the National Conference, the PDP on this particular issue on the same side of the fence as the separatists are and Pakistan is? Pakistan wants to oppose the abrogation of Article 370. Separatists also have a problem. If these two have a problem, then we must be doing something right. You should be supporting it. Why are you standing with separatists and Pakistanis, especially the deep state, by opposing the abrogation of Article 370 and the reorganization of the state? Your loyalties should be with us. The Congress loyalties, the NC loyalties, the PDP, but you are standing and articulating everything that Pakistan is saying. Why, ma'am? Why?
Before I answer your question, you were talking about the changing of the names and the powers of the parliament. You know, Article 3 of our own constitution, it speaks about naming a state. It doesn't speak that the state is to be degraded to UT. It doesn't have the power. And the bill is to be put by the president, but it is to be sent for recommendations should come from the legislative assembly. In our case, there was no legislative assembly, so it could not be sent to them. So the law of changing state into UT, that is wrong. That is to be seen by the Honorable Court, and you are waiting for the verdict. Number one. Number two, you have talked about 370. Who has given us this 370? 370, there is in fact a difference between the Jammu and Kashmir and the rest of the states. Because of the reason, Jammu and Kashmir was one of the princely states out of 565. And they were given the option either to choose Pakistan, either to go with India. And when we chose to go with the idea of India, we laid down some conditions that on these conditions, we want to join the India. So there is proper instrument of accession. It gives us the promises which have been made by the then Prime Minister of India. He was not an individual. He was representing the whole India. So I think, to my understanding, all those people who believe that what has been done by the then Prime Minister, he has given us the Article 370 because of the reason, Article 35 because of the reason he wanted to put seal to all those promises which he promised at that time. So there is difference between the Jammu Kashmir and the rest of the states. You cannot place them at par. Number one. Number two, we have talked about Congress has made this and this statement. I think the representative of the Congress must be here and he may better explain the things, why you are putting them in that arena, why do you intend to put that they are supporting the Pakistan and all that. I'm not here to answer that question on their part.
Okay. Neelofar ji, Miss Neelofar ji, you must be feeling a little irritated with me today because I began by anticipating your responses and fact-checking you. I will bear those, I'll repeat them, and I'll bring in Sanju Verma because this is very important. Now, she, viewers, is formidable. She comes with even more facts than I do, and it becomes problematic because she has to say them all. And I have to give her room, and we always have this no joke, but I will give you all your time. Sanju Verma, I just want to make one small point. Viewers, in case you didn't register this, I just want to say that Neelofar ji said no central power. No central government has the power to turn a state into a UT. UTs can be turned into states, but Article 3 doesn't give you that power. Now, viewers, in this case in 1963, West Bengal versus Union of India, Parliament, the Supreme Court observed, has wide powers to alter boundaries and even extinguish the existence of a state. It can actually remove a state. So, ma'am, as a lawyer, you should be aware of precedent, number one. Number two, and I know you're smiling because I got you there. Number two, I know this matter is before the Supreme Court. Let them have a final say. Number two, she said, you see, we have a special privilege, etc., etc. The constitution that she is quoting also says that this was a temporary provision. It had to be removed. If you listen to the Constituent Assembly debates, even Ambedkar had a problem with this. I think the real reason these people are opposing the scrapping of Article 3, and they never said anything, viewers, when it was diluted by Congress and when they were sharing power with the Congress. They have a problem with Modi. They don't ask the Gandhis, why did you dilute Article 370 all these years? They won't, because viewers, they drink from the same trough. That's the, and I am very, very blunt, viewers, you know that. Because I have facts, the hard facts. Sanju Verma, respond first to Neelofar, please. Miss Neelofar.
Okay. Rahul, thank you so much for your generous words. You've always been very kind to me. I was also sort of anticipating what the National Conference panelists would say, and I'm not disappointed in the least. Very quickly, point number one. Based on the Mir Kazim resolution of 1956, on the 26th of January 1957, the Jammu and Kashmir Constituent Assembly, that was disbanded. It ceased to exist. So point number one is, the Jammu and Kashmir Constituent Assembly was disbanded, ceased to exist from 1957 onwards. And once it ceased to exist, bringing that into the equation defies logic. Point number two, and very importantly, based on what Rahul said, I'm reading out ad verbatim. In exercise of the powers conferred by Clause 3 of Article 370, read with Clause 1 of Article 370 of the Constitution of India, the President, on the recommendation of Parliament, is pleased to declare that as from 6th August 2019, all clauses of the said Article 370 shall cease to be operative. This was an official notification coming in from the then President Ramnath Kovind's office. And no matter what the naysayers say, I mean the Modi naysayers, Article 1 of the Constitution endows the central government, in this case the Modi government, with more than ample powers to, redraw the map of India in terms of converting a state into a union territory with legislature or without legislature. So post the August 6, 2019 abrogation of Article 370, you had Jammu and Kashmir, which became union territories, albeit with a legislature, and Ladakh without a legislature. So Jammu and Kashmir was put on par with the likes of a Puducherry or Delhi, because these are also, in a manner of speaking, union territories, albeit with their own legislatures. That is point number two. Point number three, and the most important point, is this: going beyond technicalities and semantics, which lawyers can break their heads over. I think you made a very pertinent point, and for the benefit of your audience, let me say this. After the abrogation of Article 370, which as per Part 21 of the Constitution was always meant to be temporary, transitional and a special provision. It was never meant to be permanent by any stretch of imagination in any case. So if it was abrogated in 2019, I would say it actually came too late in the day. It should have happened right after the Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir was disbanded way back in 1957. Point number four, thanks to the abrogation and thanks to Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019, we now have, and as per the Delimitation Act of 2002, if you read both these in conjunction, today you know that the strength of the J&K Assembly has been raised from 107 to 114, within which 24 seats have been reserved for POK. Within Kashmir, the number of seats went up from 46 to 47,
yes,
and in the Jammu area from 37 to 43.
Yeah.
But the moot point is this, that today, thanks to the J&K Reorganization Act of 2019, which was brought to fruition by Narendra Modi and his equally competent Home Minister of India, Amit Shah, we have 7 seats in the J&K Assembly reserved for scheduled castes, 9 for scheduled tribes, 2 for Kashmiri migrants, including 1 woman, and 1 seat reserved for a person displaced from POK. I mean, look at the sheer beauty of this entire exercise, that forget Valmikis, who were never represented earlier, have got a chance now to be within the administrative scheme of things. But even Kashmiri migrants and displaced people who had no electoral heft, today they have got electoral heft.
Yes.
Thanks to the J&K Reorganization
So let me.
Act. Just 10 seconds, Rahul. People who say that J&K Reorganization Act के तहत you cannot give separate reservation to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. I just culled out a particular piece. This is section 96 of the J&K Reorganization Act. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Just
Ma'am, let's not speak over each other. I'll come back to you. Let's not make this quarrelsome. Let her finish. I'll come back to you. No problem. Not running away.
When you talk about the
Ma'am, let her finish. You make your points. Like a good lawyer, you make your points, then you can rebut.
About the permanency of the Article 370.
Ma'am,
can I please?
See, this is not fair. You make your points. I'll come back to you. No, madam. What's the big deal? We are not running away. We are all adults. Please. Yes, finish.
Thank you.
Sanju Verma ji, please finish.
I won't be verbose. Amit Shah, has repeatedly said this, and I just culled this out from one of his speeches post the abrogation. He says that as per section 96 of the J&K Reorganization Act of 2019, 21 central and local laws will now be applied in Jammu and Kashmir, including the Indian Penal Code, the 7th Pay Commission, and 37 central laws came into effect right away since 31st October 2019.
Yes.
So you have no manner of speaking, any argument to say that J&K Reorganization Act तो अभी लागू नहीं हुआ, ये 31 अक्टूबर 2019 से लागू हो चुका था.
Okay. Now let me